Welcome everyone to our wrestling podcast. I'm Jess. I'm not Jess. All right.
You are.
I can't do it. I'm Jess, along with Craig and Cuz, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from some diehard fans sharing their opinions with you. Today's topic: wrestling flip-flops. For audio fans, give us a listen.
No wrestling flip-flops.
Oh god, wrestling tag teams, odd couples. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or you can watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Our Wrestling Channel and on Daily Motion for the uncensored episodes. On social media, we are on Instagram, Facebook, X under at O.W.P 2019 at Our Wrestling Podcast. Jess, why are we doing this one today?
Tag team? I was watching a bunch of tag wrestling, to be honest, this week, and I don't know why. I was watching a Survivor Series. That's what I was doing, and so there's a lot of tag going on, and I was just like, huh. And I just started typing around the internet, and I was like, ooh, and I stumbled across, it's obviously been talked about on Reddit and all that stuff, like tag team odd couples, and I was like, well, we haven't done that as a topic yet, and there's a lot of cool, you think of tag teams like the Steiner Brothers, the Road Warriors, they were similar, like they matched and all that. But these ones are odd couples that you never thought they would ever be a good tag team. And they were. Some of them were not. Some of them were. This doesn't have to be a good list only, is my point.
Gotcha.
Right. And probably one where we can do a few of these. Like,
yes.
It was good. I think we're doing 3 or 4 here. But it's like, yeah, there's been tons of them. Like, whether it's temporary or setting up for a gimmick or...
I want this one instead of numbers. I'm going to have, it'll be numbers, but it'll be Roman numeral numbers on this one. I'm convinced that's what I'm going to do.
Nice.
On the other one, all the other ones, I just do, the actual numbers. Now it's going to be like part 6 is going to be VI.
Yeah. Love it.
So I'm saying that right now.
Yeah.
So, mainly to remind myself.
Sweet. Let's jump right in. First one, good one. And I don't really remember this. Steve Austin and Dude Love. 1997 in the WWF.
It was super short. It wasn't that long, and it was just really to, like, I think they were still trying to figure out what to do with Austin, and he was like in the middle of the feud with the Hart Foundation.
Oh, dude.
And then yeah, they're like, let's put the opposite with him, like, because like Austin isn't like don't trust anybody and all that, and this was the first time we ever saw Dude Love. It was Mick Foley debuting him, and I think that was because he told Shawn Michaels, that's right. He's like, I wanted to be you. And then he told him all about the Dude Love character. And Michaels was like, that's awesome. And then he went right and told Vince. He was like, did you know that Mick Foley wanted to be yeah. So he was like, oh my God, we got to do that character. So that's kind of how Dude Love was born.
Hilarious.
Someone's like, what about Dude Love? And he's like, how the fuck did you know about that? They're all, Shawn told us.
If there's one guy you can keep your secrets and trust that he'll never knife you in the back, Shawn Higginbottom Michaels. Steve Austin began really pushing his loner rattlesnake persona in 1997. Right after WrestleMania 13, the WWF were still trying to fit in Austin to the main plans, as Jess said. And before SummerSlam 97, Austin found himself feuding with the members of the Hart Foundation, Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith. And on the July 14th, 1997 episode of Raw, Austin found himself needing a tag team partner to face Owen and Davey Boy in a tournament final to crown a new tag team champions. Crown Jewel in 1997.
Yeah, because he came on the Titantron and he's like, ow! And he was just doing this whole thing. He's all, Austin, ow! I hear you need a partner, Daddy-O. And he was like, I happen to know just the cat to do it. Like, and Austin's like, no. And I guess, I don't remember who the authority was at the time, but they told Austin for insurance reasons or something like that, because Austin's like, I'll just face him in a handicap match. Huh?
Gorilla? Was it Gorilla? No, it
was after Gorilla. It was either Sergeant Slaughter.
Vince
was starting to step forward and do it.
I think it had to be
somehow he was told, like, for insurance reasons you cannot go out there as he's all wrestle in a handicap match because like the titles were vacant, and so because it was Austin and Shawn, they were the tag champions, and then Shawn got suspended for fighting with Brett in real life, so they took him off television. That was the famous hair pulling fight, in the back, and then so Austin was without a partner, so they didn't strip him of the title. They made like Austin automatically in the finals with the mystery partner, and then they had like a little mini tournament, and then Davey and Owen won the mini tournament. So they got to face Austin and a partner. But then Austin the whole night was like, no, I don't need a partner. I don't need a partner. And then they're like, for insurance reasons, you do. And he's like, well, so he still never made an effort to get it. He went out to the ring. He's like, I don't care. I don't have a partner. And that's when Foley came on.
Let's go.
Going, ow!
And Stone Cold Steve Austin with a boot. The starter! The starter! It's over! Dude Love for the cover! Got him! It's the Summer of Love! And we've got new tag team champions!
And the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions!
Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation! This is Foley's baby boy! Is a champion in the World Wrestling Federation!
And then the photo that I hope you can show it on the screen.
Yes, I'm going to show it.
This episode's going. It's like, dude, love
it's
doing
literally like
the thumbs up. It's
what
awesome.
pose can you do to show the dynamic of your tag team? Like that's exactly what they did in this.
Yeah. And just awesome. Like, do not touch me.
Yeah, don't touch me.
And it was only like a month or so, and then they got. Oh, go ahead, Craig, because I think you have more notes.
No, they won the tag team championship, and then they would be stripped of the titles after Austin was injured at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So it's like I didn't even remember like when we go back and watch SummerSlam, I knew they were challenging for the IC title, but Austin was one half of the tag champions too, and nobody ever mentioned it. Like it's so crazy. Like I totally forgot about that until I read that too.
And I've never really heard any podcasts of how they felt about each other. Like that's an interesting dynamic of Mick and Steve.
I think they always got along.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
always
didn't
cool
even
with each
Mick like sleep on the floor in some of Austin's. No, didn't they used to fuck around? It was they used to fuck with DDP all the time.
Oh
so
yes, in early
it was DDP, Austin, and Mick Foley, and like a fan baked them cookies or something like that, and so they snuck it in the bed. And yeah, like because Diamond Dallas Page would wrap ice and shit around his knees and stuff all the time, and he had a whole ritual that annoyed everybody, like before he got to bed. And then so it's like they were giving him shit. He wraps himself up. He has this whole ritual. He puts shit on his face.
Oh, and he knows
I
he
gotta
slept
put ice
naked
around my knees. Yeah.
Yes,
it's because he slept naked and walked around naked all the time. Yeah.
And then so they put
Like
like
naked.
cookies in the bed. So when he got in, like he said something like they turn the lights out, and you just hear him go, "You guys are fucking assholes," or something like that. Like
Because they hear the crackling of the cookies.
But yeah,
so
I think Foley and Austin got along.
funny.
That's funny.
All right. Next up, Team Hell No 2000. Let's fast forward to 2012 with Daniel Bryan and Kane.
This is great.
Really like.
This is so good.
They're one of my kind of favorite tag teams ever.
They are,
like
dude.
low-key, like
They
it's
are
super fun. I love Team Hell No. I love the dynamic. It's always the oil and water, right? Like that was literally their gimmick. But nobody Kane. Like there was a list that I was going to because I know we're gonna have multiple parts of this, and Kane was on the list like all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say who else he was on there with because it's going to be probably future entries. But it was like, yeah, the whole thing with Kane all the time was like, "Are you going to put me with this person?" Yeah, because it's like oil and water. You're totally opposite.
Yeah.
And every pairing with Kane throughout his entire career, except with the Undertaker. Like it was just like he had an opposite because it was a funny dynamic. It's easy to do. It's easy to be like this person's one way and you're the other. Imagine if they lived together.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so yeah,
Dude,
and
the
that's always
segments
been
were
like this
so
thing.
amazing.
But dude, I know it sounds corny, Craig, when you read the stuff about the
Therapist or whatever.
counselor. Yeah, the counselor and all that stuff. It's completely stupid and corny, but it was funny. It was absolutely
Yeah, it
hilarious
was.
when they did
It was really good.
Daniel
good
Bryan and
stuff.
Kane were in a feud with each other over the affection of AJ Lee and would face each other at SummerSlam 2012. Kane became increasingly violent in his demands for rematch, while Bryan, upset with fans for continuing to chant his catchphrase "yes" after he told them not to, continued to lose his temper and have bursts of anger during matches and interview segments.
Yeah, dude, I love that
So-
shit.
Man.
As a result of Bryan and Kane's issues, AJ enrolled him in anger management classes hosted by Dr. Shelby.
So ridiculous.
That guy was good too.
It's
Whoever
all
played Dr.
ridiculous when
Shelby.
you read it out loud. I'm like, this sounds like the dumbest thing ever, but it was all funny.
At the arrangement of Dr. Shelby and AJ, the two adversaries formed a team whose constant bickering and fighting, even during matches, inadvertently resulted in them defeating defending champions Kofi and R-Truth to win the WWE Tag Team Championship at Night of Champions.
Kane didn't appreciate it, and now Daniel Bryan and Kane, what is going on here? They're partners. Kane off the top rope. He flipped Kingston, and Kane and Bryan have won the tag team titles.
Now winners of this match, and new WWE Tag Team Champions, Daniel Bryan and Kane.
So get this, their reign would last 245 days.
They're fucking.
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Yeah,
they're popular.
I
remember,
huge
like,
chunk of the year.
Yeah, and I remember them like defending titles on a pay-per-view and then just moving on to the next. I'm like, so they're a team. Like, it's like crazy. It's like they were actually pushed as an actual tag team, not to be together for like 2 months. They were together for a bit.
I don't remember what SmackDown it was, but there is a SmackDown where I think they were, it was either someone was fighting one-on-one against someone else, like Kane was fighting someone or Daniel Bryan was fighting someone, or there was a tag team. But it was the end where all the tag teams kept coming down and like they were fighting them off. And then they looked at each other and they realized, oh, we get along because we like to kick everyone's ass. And I just remember they like first, like Daniel Bryan would hit someone with the chair and then he'd look at Kane and he'd be smiling.
Oh my God.
Dude, that crowd went crazy because they decimated the whole tag division. That crowd was going insane for both of them. That was one of the fucking, that's a moment that,
I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that. Yes, I remember them trying to like, and they do one up, and Kane's like, okay, I can do that too. Yeah, they would just do. Yeah,
and that crowd went crazy because like they're finally getting along. Like that crowd, like that was your fucking moment right there. That was what you built up to, was for that moment. Yeah, it was amazing, dude. Like it
really is. It really is about stories, pal. Right? Like on the June 17th, 2013 episode of Raw, both would announce going their separate ways. So they just kind of.
That's the video.
Yeah, they went, and that's when Bryan went in shortly after that. That was 2013.
Yep.
At WrestleMania in 2014 is when he won the title.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, RK Bro. More recently in 2021. Talking about Randy Orton and Matt Riddle.
We walked into the building because remember for your brother's bachelor party, SummerSlam 2021.
Stadium, yep.
We walked in and while everyone was kind of getting their seats or whatever and getting their drinks and all that, we actually watched the whole opening tag match, which was RK Bro challenging AJ Styles and Omos for the tag titles. Wow. And Craig, you're gonna read that anyway. And we were there live when they won the tag belts, and I remember watching it from that loft. Remember when you just walked upstairs,
standing there,
and we watched. Yeah, the pop for RK Bro was huge actually.
It was,
and so they won the tag titles. Like it was the whole. We just walked into the arena to that.
Wow. On the April 19th, 2021 episode of Raw, Riddle would interrupt the backstage interview of Randy Orton, where Riddle suggested a tag team formation with Orton dismissing the idea by leaving. So Riddle approached Orton wanted nothing to do with it.
He wanted
That's how they played at the very beginning. Yeah. A match was made later on in the night between Orton and Riddle, in which Riddle won with a roll-up. Ooh. Following week on Raw, Orton was backstage with Riddle when he suggested the team be given a try. You earned my respect, brother.
I swear to God, every odd couple, and I can even think of ones I didn't name, like all start with the premise of one person going, leave me alone, get away from me. And the other person going, no, I'm going to be charmingly irritating to you. And then that's how it all happens. Like, what's his face? Riddle kept approaching Orton. Orton's like, no. And, like giving him every reason to not. And he's like, bro, let's do it, bro. Like, and it kind of like just started working. You're like, yeah, Randy, fucking do it. Like, and then his fans were like, fucking do it, Randy, quit being a bitch. Like, and then he does it. Like,
I miss Riddle. I hope.
And there's a built-in cool tension with Orton that we haven't seen in a while in the current product, and I want it to come back. And that's the Viper, like where he just turns on everybody. And like this is probably the longest stint, and with Riddle here was like the longest stint of him not. And actually, he's been face ever since this, right? Since the Riddle program. I don't think. I mean, he was out for a long time with an injury, but Orton's been a face ever since then. When's the fucking Viper gonna come back? God damn it!
Was he heel with what year was the greatest match of all, Edge and Orton? That was way before that, right?
No, he was a heel. You're right. He did turn heel. You're right.
That was 2020.
During the pandemic, he turned heel. That's right. Yeah. You're right. So I'm wrong.
No.
It was the greatest match of all time.
It was the greatest match of all time. And that's the Orton I want back. And so, but everybody, it was built in here with the Matt Riddle thing. It's like, do you really want that, Matt? Like, he's going to turn on you. He turns on everybody. Yeah. And he never really did. Like, they just ended up going their separate ways, I think, Craig, as you read on. Like, they never really did. And but you always thought that. It didn't matter if they were winning the belts or not. I remember thinking, like, when's that RKO coming? Like, and when are they going to go into their singles feud? Because it's got to be leading to that. And it never did.
Rollins picking up speed.
He got it!
And Riddle disposes of Rollins.
No! Yes! Woo! RK Bro!
And the new Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro!
After 7-week, wait, what? Oh, he suggested the team be given a try. After a 7-week absence, Orton returned on the August 9th episode of Raw, where he initially discontinued his. So he must have got injured when he said give the team a try. Later that night, Orton defeated AJ Styles in a match following assistance from Riddle, and afterwards pretended to hug him. However, Orton attacked Riddle with an RKO, which was not construed as a heel turn, but rather Orton's unique way of showing gratitude.
That's right. Yeah, it's like instead of hugging him, he gave him an RKO, and then that was
just
like
to be like wink, like
all right, bro.
What they wanted to see. The following week, Orton officially reunited the team after Riddle saved him from an attack at the hands of AJ Styles and Omos. And then, as just alluded to earlier, at SummerSlam, RK Bro defeated Styles and Omos to win their first WWE Raw Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, and they were champs for a bit too, right?
Around
they lost in May of 2022. Yeah. So that was wow.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that is pretty good.
And I loved their music was just a mix of whose music went first, Riddle's and then Orton's.
Yeah,
or did
bro. Or no, I didn't do Randy
bro.
Orton. It may have done Randy Orton's first. The I Hear Voices. I think it starts.
Yeah,
with
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then it went into bro, like the.
When you can mix two superstars' music together correctly, it actually kind of works. So,
yeah,
a unification match between the Usos and RK Bro was scheduled for on the May 20th, 2022 episode of SmackDown, where they lost the titles to the Usos, ending their second reign and resulting in Andy Orton suffering a back injury.
Bullshit.
And they seem to genuinely like each other, and Orton genuinely kind of carried Riddle around and taught him how to, I think, act around, and he saw himself in him, I think, being a bit of the outcast and the
it's also fun.
The wild one, I guess.
It's also fun to see the older legends, which Orton was at this time, and like kind of embrace younger people and not always need to be in a feud with them, but to like kind of be funny with them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and Orton kind of plays. So it's kind of cool that Orton, Orton, like it kind of shows that he's cool, Orton, like, you know, and like he really is smart when it comes to wrestling, like, and everything. And you're just like, yeah, Orton's badass. Of course he can. Of course he's going to do that.
One of the greatest of all time.
Figure out a way to,
He will always be considered that way.
Definitely one of the most naturally gifted wrestlers I've ever seen.
And I think he's going to be one of those guys that, like, when he's actually gone, he will shoot up the ladder of conversation. Like, he'll be like, because you never include him in Greatest of All Time or Rushmore, and I think you'll appreciate him.
Yeah, in a way, he's like this version of like Jake Roberts, like what Jake Roberts was to us. You know, I mean, he's won tons of championships, but I mean, that just kind of was par for the course throughout the 2000s. Was you're going to win a title somehow, apparently. But yeah, like it's weird. Like you look back on Jake now, and you're like, "Fuck, Jake was great." Like you go back and watch a lot of things that he did, and Orton, same thing. Even when Orton was bored and wasn't trying, he was better than 99% of the locker room. Like that's what's so crazy about Orton. Like I could tell when he's bored in some matches, but I'm like, he's still fucking hitting all of his spots without trying. Like it's fucking crazy. Like it's really crazy about how gifted he was.
Yeah,
we also kind of thought about that about Riddle too. It's a shame the way he ended, but like. Riddle, when we saw him in NXT, we're just like, dude, he was naturally gifted. Like he just understood how to do things. He was that. Good. So, yeah. So their styles were kind of similar in a way that they were both very athletic, Orton and Riddle.
Yeah.
But characters went out, bro. All about characters.
Yeah, bro.
And that's it for the episode I of Wrestling Tag Team Odd Couples.
Yeah, there's a lot more like I wanted to talk about, but yeah, like it's I like the topic too because like. Then you start realizing that in a weird way, like as we were kind of going through, like just 3 entries, you're like, dude, like have Odd Couple tag teams have been as successful as like made tag teams? Like, has there been the same success as, you know, what the Steiners had versus what like a team like Hell No had or whatever? I mean, obviously Steiners were longer, but like when you talk about history and stuff, I'm like, you think Odd Couples are like few and far between, but they're kind of not. Like when you go back and look at a lot of stuff, and especially when Vince wants to cut budgets, right? Like then all of a sudden he takes 2 singles wrestlers and makes them a team because he doesn't want to pay a tag team, you know, 2 separate, you know, incomes or whatever. Like so he fucking makes Bulldog and Owen, you know, together or whatever, and then you're like, well, I guess like Vince hates tag teams right now because Bruce always says the first thing that Vince does when times get tough is he cuts tag team. Because like it's double the expense, like so why you need to, and then you take your main roster, your singles roster, and the people that you're not doing a lot with. Oh, well, you're a tag team now, So it's like, in a weird way, that sucks for people who love tag team wrestling. We love the pure tag teams like the Bulldogs, the Hearts, the Steiners, all that, Demolition, LOD. But at the same time, like, I'm like, well, now that we're saying it out loud, like, I'm like, there's been a lot of really successful odd couple tag teams too, like, that deserve like the same spotlight as like some of those other ones I mentioned. But this is all staying in.
For audio fans, buy radio.
For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Our Wrestling Channel, and on Daily Motion for some uncensored. On social media, we are Instagram, Facebook, and X under at O.W.P 2019 at Our Wrestling Podcast. This has been Craig, Jess, and Dave. Have a good one.